Okay, and we're rolling for the fourth time. Welcome to episode 4 of Not Ready Yet Radio. I keep calling it Not Ready Yet Radio. As you can tell by the name of the YouTube channel, the word radio is nowhere to be found. It's not in the title, I don't know why, it just rolls off the tongue, Not Ready Yet Radio. But this is not on radio, it's not Ready Yet TV either because it's not on TV. Once again, I'm rambling. Anyway, yesterday, in the last 24 hours, let's say, we've had Man United versus, who did they play? Newcastle, the resurrection of Jose Mourinho's contract, and we had the Conor McGregor fight, so I want to be talking about both those things, the Conor McGregor-Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, but first let's talk about Man United. Jesus Christ, what a game of football that was. I've missed watching Man United that spirited. I haven't seen them play in that much of a spirited way in years. I haven't seen the fans get up out of their seat like it's 1999 again, and we need to get 2 goals back against Bayern Munich. I've literally, apart from when the Man United fans were in the Nou Camp Stadium in '99, and the commentator was saying this has to be their year, and all that, and Schmeichel's coming up, and there's Sheringham and Solskjaer, and the ball's bouncing around the area, and it keeps cutting to the Man United fans, and they're fucking just they're trying to will a goal in with just sheer fucking prayer, do you know what I mean? And it reminded me, the atmosphere yesterday at Old Trafford reminded me of that, when they were chanting Mourinho's name. There's obviously a lot going on about Mourinho at the moment. I spoke about that a little bit in the last video, which I'll release 1 week late. Probably not the best strategical move. But dude, like I think there's so many more. There's certain managers in the Premier League that are saying things that are they're just pure bollocks. They're the most unadulterated, pure 100% bollocks you will ever find. And if Mourinho said that, it would be like he'd killed someone's family pet. Do you know what I mean? This Neil Warnock character, what was he said about Harry Kane? There was basically, I can't stream Match of the Day again on this because iPlayer only release Match of the Day like 24 hours after it's been shown. So I can't remember the name of the player, but there was a foul on a Tottenham player that was just fucking ridiculous. I mean, Vinnie Jones would have called this ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? No disrespect to Mr. Jones. I am a fan of Mean Machine. So that being said, yeah, there was a tackle, and not even the player who committed the foul, not even he complained about being sent off because he knew exactly why he was being sent off, and he just accepted it and walked away. But this manager of Cardiff, Neil Warnock, to be honest, with a face like that, he would have been better suited to being a serial killer than a football manager. And I'm glad he's chosen football, because you know the last thing we need is one more serial killer. Do you know what I mean? So I am glad that he has chosen not to follow down the path of murder. Dude, he's saying he's defending this player that just committed this awful tackle, right? There's no way that anyone with a fucking brain cell in their head can deny that was a sending off offence. He's blaming Harry Kane for getting the guy sent off. Now all Harry Kane did was go up to him, sort of put his arm around, not in a friendly way, but he didn't get him in a fucking headlock, do you know what I mean? And he was coercing the referee into trying to get the player sent off. Now, I can't remember watching a game of football ever in my life where a foul has been committed and the opposition players haven't surrounded the referee. I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen. I don't think I ever will see it happen, that they don't surround the referee. If Neil Warnock's, if he was the manager if that had happened, if the shoe was on the other foot and one of his players got fouled like that, he would have the complete opposite mindset. The fact that he hasn't just said, either say nothing and say I'm not going to talk about that because you're well within your rights to, or just say yeah, it was a terrible challenge, but don't act like a fucking little child and flip over a Monopoly board just because you're not happy with how things have gone. I mean, so my point is with this is if Mourinho is saying things that are true that might be a little bit hard for his players to hear, like they're not putting in enough effort, or this is wrong, or that's wrong. At least he's speaking from his fucking heart and from his fucking balls. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not just blatantly denying everything. What Neil Warnock's basically, that's the equivalent. The lies he's telling about how it was the referee was coerced by Harry Kane, and not just fucking having a bit of sack about him and saying that his player made a mistake. Him denying that was a foul and trying to blame it on Harry Kane. That's like a child being caught with chocolate around their mouth and saying that they don't know how it got there and they haven't eaten the cake and blaming it on the dog. Do you know what I mean? That's the equivalent of what he's doing. But if Mourinho said that, is my point, then he'd be absolutely slated. He would be absolutely, they'd take him to the fucking cleaners. Talking of being taken to the cleaners, Man United's away kit does look like it's been put in the wash with like a red sock by accident or something. I mean, what were they thinking? But this Mourinho thing, man, I touched on it last time, that the English press really don't deserve any respect. And that might not just be the English press, that might be the press in every country. I don't know, I've never lived anywhere else than the UK, so I don't know what other people's newspapers and media and TV reports are like. But yeah, I honestly don't think the British press deserve any respect or any. If he doesn't want to speak to them, Mourinho, he doesn't have to. You know, I'm sure there's good people in the press in England in terms of like as individuals. I'm sure there's some nice individuals, but en masse they're just a bunch of cunts, and everyone knows that. But if Mourinho said that, dude, if Mourinho tried to blame another player, they'd have a field day with him. There are pundits and people on the kind of debate panels and everything that are just reading a quote from Mourinho and just tearing the guy a new fucking asshole. When if Brian Clough had done that back in the day, they'd be singing his praises. I mean, allegedly Brian Clough once punched Roy Keane in the fucking face when he was playing for Nottingham Forest, and Roy Keane just rolled with it and said he deserved it and just rolled with it. I mean, Brian Clough on more than one occasion, allegedly. Obviously, I wasn't in the dressing room. Who the fuck am I? Do you know what I mean? I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, and I might be wrong now. But Brian Clough used to assault players. Do you know what I mean? Now, if God fucking forbid, if Mourinho's never done anything like that. Brian Clough was probably a bit of a prick to work for. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure he was a great manager and he's a real good character. And I watched a couple of documentaries on Clough and I really enjoyed it. And I got a lot of respect for Brian Clough because I don't want to speak ill of someone who's passed away. But you talk about a manager that a lot of players would have fucking hated. You've got Brian Clough, and he's one of the most revered, rightly so, he's one of the most revered managers in history. Some managers are just a little bit more fucking rough around the edges. Now Mourinho isn't even close to the level of assholery that Brian Clough was, for want of a far more eloquent word. I think he's soft spoken. He can probably shout for England if he wanted to, but I don't know. I don't think Clough came under as much scrutiny as Mourinho has. And to be honest, that might be me looking at it with rose-tinted glasses, because thinking back on that documentary, the press did fucking hammer him a little bit. And maybe if social media was what it is now, maybe Clough back then, when he was knocking players around the dressing room and doing his thing, maybe he would have been all over social media as the devil himself, like Mourinho is now. I don't know, I think everything's a headline now. Everything's a headline. No one can keep their mouth shut. No one can mind their business. And I'm exactly the same, dude. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing a video on it now. Because is it any of my business? Is it fuck? It's none of my business. None of it is. None of it's any of our business, really. Especially what goes on behind closed doors of a football team. I mean, I don't know why the press was even there. I don't know how they got in, who let them in, did they sneak in? And I'm talking about that video of Mourinho walking past Pogba, and Pogba's just looking at him like he's the fucking scum of the earth. But, dude, you have no context to that. I don't, no one does. We don't know if anything was said. We don't know if there was bad blood. We don't know if it was justified bad blood. Was it? Do you know what I mean? We literally don't know anything. And the thing is, the players at Man United are big boys. They can look after them fucking selves. Do you know what I mean? They don't have to have people weighing in saying, you know, he's done this and he's said that and he's pissed off him and he's pissed off him. You know, the players are all fucking grown men. They can handle their business if they want to, and I'm sure they could. You know, if they all fucking banded together and went to the board, you know, I'm sure they could make something happen to get him out of the club. And if they're not deciding to do that, you know, it's not like he's managing a Sunday league team and he's acting like a prick to all of them. Then maybe someone needs to step in and say, listen, Jose, they're only kids, you know, be nice. But these are fucking grown men. They can handle themselves. They don't need anyone sticking up for them. You know, I'm sure some of the things that used to go on in football back in the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, you know, was far worse than whatever is said, whatever's said now in a Premier League football team. And I don't know if this is legal to require or not, but if I was a manager of a team, I would probably want to say and make a rule that no one goes on social media, but no one posts on social media. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can ask a player. Hang on, I need to put my batteries in. 1 second, un momento. We were talking about how, I don't know whether you can do it, but I would try and not block social media, but say, listen, everyone in my team, don't go on Twitter, don't post on Facebook, don't post on Instagram, whatever it is. Just stay off it. Don't Google news Man United to see what people are saying about you. And just stay away from it, man, because I without having much life experience, I can almost guarantee you that players would have been a lot more relaxed before social media even came about. And I don't think it would be an unreasonable request for a manager to say, listen, if you want to play in my team, you don't post on social media, because there's no need for it anyway. There's really no need for it. It's just self-aggrandizing. I mean, it's kind of arrogant to even post on social media, but I suppose that's what I'm doing with this video, so fuck me. You know, but yeah, I would try and maybe say just don't even fucking go on the thing, because whether you post something positive or something it's gonna be spun into something negative by some cunt news association anyway. You know, it's really laughable the amount that's spun into a story. I think Mourinho, they were bitching on the debate about Mourinho's program notes or some bullshit like that, and all the guy said was in his program notes that they need to give everything for the shirt. The team's more important than any individual. They need to play for the fans. They need to play for themselves, and they need to play for the badge that's on the shirt. Not once did he mention they need to play for me. I don't think there was anything bad in his program notes. It's saying give your all, play for the badge, play for each other, play for the fans. And they somehow on the debate twisted it like the guy was Lucifer fucking Morningstar. I really I can't even. I mean, these are grown men that are trying to spin this into like it was some sort of scathing, underhanded attack on his players. All the guy's saying is, let's put our fucking balls into this thing and let's take some risks. Let's play a game of football and let's show these fans the price of a fucking ticket. That's all the guy said. Do you know what I mean? If that was said back when Satan Greavesy was on the TV, they would have stood behind his message, and people would have reacted weirdly if anyone had a problem with it. I don't know. It's getting very. This whole analysis of all this Mourinho stuff. It's getting very like handbags at dawn, and it's just. And also, when you read a statement, not that there was anything even wrong with the guy's program notes. I mean, the poor fucking guy can't do right for doing wrong. What was I saying? Here it was. It was Cardiff's Joe Ralls. It says, red card versus Tottenham divides fans. I don't know how the fuck it can divide fans. The guy fouled the guy. He got sent off. It's literally no more complicated than that. And I understand what people mean about Mourinho's bedside manner. He's just cantankerous and passive aggressive and all this. But dude, the guy has to justify himself to every Tom, Dick, and Harry under the sun at the moment. So you're gonna reach a stage with any manager where they do just give you one word answers, because whatever they say is going to be spun into something negative. He could say that he wishes all the players the very best for the rest of their lives. He could say he wishes that they all go to heaven after they die. He could say that he respects them all as characters and as individuals. And they would still spin that into some sort of attack that he's supposed to have made. So, yeah, I really don't think the British media are doing themselves any favours. Gary Neville's done well. He's another one that says what he thinks. So you know that even if you don't agree with Gary Neville's opinion, or let's Jamie Carragher or someone like that, they're speaking from here. They're not just trying to fabricate some sort of lie to try. I mean, I don't know who this Neil Warnock guy's trying to trick. It's on fucking camera. And apparently there's supposed to be this new rule that players can't surround the referee. Dude, good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. There's a rule that you can't go over the speed limit either, but try going on a road where you don't see someone doing it. Some rules are just never going to be abided by, and you would have to. I really don't think there's any way to do that. Once VAR comes in, maybe you could say don't surround the referee, because if the referee's going to go